having to do it twice. Let me know if there's sound in this. Sound seems to be up. Let me just check. I think that's it. At full volume. So, I don't understand. I've got actually my mic in, so I don't understand why there'd be no volume on it. Or no sound. So, like, I wish one of you would join me and answer if there's any sound. So, I'm with Baby Gorillas. So, we're outside the COVID inquiry where Leslie Roberts has been denied giving evidence other than putting forward a statement to the inquiry, which apparently is being memory holed. And because she's not giving direct evidence to the inquiry, it means that the actual evidence that she's given about people having their ventilators stopped and non-resuscitation orders and other ways of killing Scots has potentially changed. I don't even know if there's if this is going out. So this has been memory hold by them. I don't know. Can you hear me? Somebody say something. Can you hear me? Is there sound now? Have we got sound? Is there sound? Anybody? Any comments? Can somebody tell me if we get sound? Sound volume is working. You can hear, right? Fantastic. That's terrific. So we're outside the COVID inquiry with Leslie Roberts. Leslie Roberts has submitted a written statement, as have other medical practitioners submitted written statements to the inquiry, but they have been refused a direct audience with the inquiry, thereby the inquiry's ability to memory hold these submissions, written submissions. So, which means that orders for non-resuscitation orders that were potentially given by Nicola Sturgeon and the Gold members that have all deleted their WhatsApps will not be recorded by the COVID inquiry. So not only has Nicola Sturgeon been able, and Nicola Sturgeon, John Swinney, Humza Yousaf have all managed to delete their WhatsApp messages. Now nurses and other practitioners who have given written evidence of non-resuscitation, basically killing Scots, but through the medical profession, the government-owned medical profession, Nicola Sturgeon and the Gold members could have been sending out non-resuscitation orders through the doctors and nurses to not resuscitate patients that could have been resuscitated. Not to mention the putting of people with COVID in old folks' homes. Not to mention the fact that Nicola Sturgeon brought over the Nike, or I can't remember, whatever it was, the Nike conference to Scotland, which actually caused the COVID outbreak. So the actual non-resuscitation orders, which Nicola Sturgeon may have actually done through our Gold member WhatsApp groups, are now being covered up by the inquiry that's happening in here. I've just been denied access to as well. You know what it's like for me to try and get access to give you the correct information. But as far as we know from the written periodicals, the British periodicals, a number of nurses, and I don't know if doctors, but certainly nurses and medical practitioners have given written evidence to the inquiry, which has been memory hold, and they have been denied actual representation and presentation of evidence that may suggest that non-resuscitation orders were given to patients that could have been resuscitated by the members of the Gold group, which was covered at the other COVID inquiry up at the International Conference Centre, and the cover up of these by the major senior political figures, whether it be John Swinney, Nicola Sturgeon, Humza Yousaf, and they've all covered it up. So in here they're not allowing the actual practitioners to give oral evidence so that this can be recorded. And because this can't be recorded, it won't be allowed for history and for future generations. So not only did Nicola Sturgeon allegedly put people in care homes with COVID, not only did Nicola Sturgeon let the Nike group, which was I think what allegedly was the actual the point of spreading COVID in Scotland. Not only did she invite in the world at COP26 during the pandemic, but not only did she lock people in the house who couldn't get other medical treatment like cancer treatment, etc., etc. But not only did she do all that, but now not only did they not deny the WhatsApp members and blamed everything on Brexit when it was them as globalist shills, fake nationalists who are trying to kill their own people, like the socialists, the underlying socialists they actually are. But now they're actually covering up in here medical practitioners who are trying to give evidence that these individuals told the medical practitioners at the time not to resuscitate patients that could have been resuscitated. That's not to mention the contraindications, where people who have been given this COVID shot, which has now been taken off in multiple countries, it's been stopped being given in multiple countries, has been given to children. And Nicola Sturgeon and the Gold members, Humza Yousaf, John Swinney, have covered it all up. They've not submitted the WhatsApp evidence. They're denying medical practitioners in here. They're denying coverage from the alternative media who are actually here to try and cover it. They wouldn't let us in earlier on. And they're memory holding written affidavits to the actual inquiry by not allowing the evidence to be presented in person by these medical practitioners that know that allegedly the senior politicians implemented a non-resuscitation, killing Scots in hospital allegedly from the non-resuscitation orders. And they have allowed Scots to die in hospital that they instructed medical practitioners for them to do. And now there's like they deleted all their WhatsApps when they were told to keep them. They're now allegedly having the medical practitioners memory hold their information of them actually killing Scots by the failure to resuscitate. Not to mention the COVID's getting placed in care homes allegedly. Not to mention the contraindications of putting a non-tested drug in your system that they forced through. Not to mention the people who died from not getting medical care during the COVID period, because the medical practitioners were dancing about and making me TikTok videos. Not to mention the cover-up by the members of the Gold Committee, where none of the WhatsApp evidence has been given and been deliberately withheld by Humza Yousaf, by John Swinney, by Nicola Sturgeon, after the alleged mass murder or corporate homicide, to be more exact, from people in care homes, from non-resuscitation orders, from the people who were denied access to medical treatment, who may have had medical issues. the life-affirming medical issues because of Nicola Sturgeon's actions and the British governments over those 2 years. Not to mention the fact that they've been given experimental injections. And now not only have the Gold members have covered up this by not supplying the actual evidence from their WhatsApps, they've also now not allowing medical practitioners such as Leslie Roberts and others to give the medical information that would show that this was a conspiracy and that this was actually directed by the government to kill Scottish and potentially even international individuals in homes, in hospitals. No, this is not the care homes, in hospitals. And this has now been covered up by the COVID inquiry, by John Swinney, who was a member of the Gold Group, and others in the SNP. But it could have equally been Labour or the Liberals or the SNP, the globalist shill parties. The globalist shill parties, Lib Lab, Cons, Greens and the SNP. And they basically murdered your granny. Nicola Sturgeon's book, I think, is called How I Killed Your Granny, by Mrs. Shipman. And I mean, there'll be a core group out there. This is a conspiracy. This is not just something that's. This is not something that's just happened. This is a conspiracy by this inquiry, by the highest individuals in the political sphere who are still in power, who still control the police and the judiciary and this COVID inquiry. And that these individuals have not been given justice and not been allowed to report to the actual COVID inquiry directly on a stand, so that their actual statements can be actually given to the inquiry and then being referred to at a later date. When they give the written statement, that can be memory hold. So what they should do is make, if you like to go on the Guerilla TV's channel, give me the written statements, guerillaTV@gmail.com. Give me the written statements and I'll read them out. I wonder if Sturgeon can holster a pistol. Well, I don't think she had to. She didn't have to. She just had to kill Scots by not letting them resuscitate. I know people now who are have had major health effects, heart attacks. They're dead. All since taking this antivirus that's now been seen as as something life-threatening or something that can cause contraindications. And she forced children to get this. So Mrs. Shipman, wee nippy, is now memory holding, covering up in this inquiry the actual evidence from the medical practitioners to the actual inquiry. And thereby she won't be over the long term have a point of reference to actually refer back to. So what these practitioners should do is make public statements on what this has happened, because there's one way of giving it to the inquiry and one way of actually making this public, and you need to make these statements public now. Pure blood and pride. Pure blood and pride, yeah, exactly, Hank, good to see you, mate. And if you can't get it through the legal channels, because the legal channels have been compromised, like Nicola Sturgeon or like John Swinney, part of the Gold Group, controlling the judiciary and the police, you have to make the statements public so everybody knows about it, so it's on the record for everybody. and thereby we don't have to rely on the COVID inquiry memory holding this, and then we can make it a bigger issue on the back of actually knowing what it was said in these statements. You should put it out to all the press, and so we all know, so we can all go on it and actually find out, and we can make statements on it. Or we can actually ask the politicians directly. I'll go and ask Winnie directly. So we need these statements made public. People were murdered, and this is culpable homicide, deliberate acts of mass destruction. And I believe, obviously, I work at a political level. I don't work at a conspiratorial level. I work at a political level. But you've got to remember, all the political class are basically, Nigel was on the TV saying 80 to 90% are Remainers or EU fanatics. Same with the fake nationalists, the SNP, they're always talking about, foreign people, tons of foreign people should come in. Fake nationalists, just a bunch of Marxist scumbags, they're just the Green Party in disguise. Murdering other people. Murdering their fellow Scots by the failure to actually, or for them to actually, I think there was 4 signatures and all sorts on these with withholding life-affirming care. And that's what's happening here. And now it's been memory hold. And this is what's they've allowed to happen. You know, I've been on the ball right from the start with this. And now they're preventing evidence being given to actually point the finger at them. That's very clever, mate, very clever. Pointing the finger at them. Because obviously they might be found guilty. If they get found guilty of culpable homicide, which is an ongoing investigation, which I believe will be memory hold again by Police Scotland, who are under John Swinney's control, just like the judiciary. They will memory hold the fact that the SNP potentially mass murdered their own people because of Brexit. I know this is it's a bit strange, and locked us in our house to destroy small businesses. Obviously, the left wing as well. He wants zero growth. I'll come into. I'll do a thing about growth. I'll do a thing about growth, and whether it's been done deliberately or for incompetence. And so we'll have a wee chat about that later on. But unbelievable. These medical practitioners' written statements with the failure to resuscitate or being denied by the SNP and not being asked to actually present themselves directly to the inquiry may be one of the biggest mass murdering cover-ups that we've ever seen since devolution, and done by wee nippy shipmen. But baby gorillas.